Well, we have made it into 2026. Several days into 2026, as a matter of fact. So I hope that your first week has gone well, and and praying that the year turns out to be a good one. Um, Being the first video of 2026 seemed an appropriate time to call us all out to doing something that we're supposed to be doing. To start the year off in the right trajectory and to do a little self-promotion, which is not something I do a lot. Maybe I should do it more, but probably not going to happen because it's just not really my thing. But I am going to do it here, and that is to ask you guys to share my content, to put it out in front of all of the people you know on social media, to push it as far and wide as you can, to ask others to push it as far and wide as they can, to use videos of mine that may answer questions that people have asked you, or to comment on what I have to say, add to the conversation, ask questions, whatever the case may be, just to further the conversation and to spread the gospel. That's the point. Also, you know, the idea here is not just for me to get further out in front of more people, but also to hopefully become a asset to you, a tool for you to be able to start conversations with people that you may not have an opportunity to start in another way, organically or something like that. So the idea here, while yes, is to grow my brand and get further out there in front of people that I would never have the opportunity to influence on my own, with my own circle of influence. It's not just for me to grow and to build my name, but it's really to further the gospel and to start the conversations and to get conversations started between people that I'll never meet, but between people who do know each other and will be able to get face to face and then have interpersonal interaction that will be meaningful, more meaningful than just watching videos online. So that's the idea. And it's not an entirely unbiblical idea, and I want to kind of cover that some. I wanted to start first off by why. Why is it so important to do this? What is so important that we need to tell? Well, that starts, I think the simplest way to explain that goes back to one of the most widespread verses in the United States, maybe in the world, and that's John 3:16. For God so loved the world, he gave his only begotten Son, so that whoever believeth on him should not perish but have everlasting life. I don't think there's a more widespread verse than that. We've seen it for years. Guys at sporting events holding up the sign. It's been a very widespread verse. What most don't do is to read and commit to memory the verse behind that, verse 17, which is, God sent his Son into the world not to condemn the world, but to save the world. But to save the world through him. Pardon me. Sorry, I just smacked the microphone, so that's probably a loud little thing in there. But that's the point, is Jesus didn't come to beat us down or to tell us how, well, just blatantly, just to tell us how screwed we are. We knew that. The story, the information's out there. The Old Testament really drives home. We screwed it up. Hell is our inheritance. That's where we're going. We've all sinned. We've all screwed it up. We're all human, and none of us get to make it. None of us do. None of us are good enough. None of us are going to heaven on our own, by ourselves. In what we do, we don't get to do it. Our story is bleak. Hell is our future. Every one of us have dropped the ball, screwed it up, and we're all bound for hell. We get the idea that that's not the case, but it is. The gospel, which literally translates to good news, is that Jesus came so that we can escape that reality. That we don't have to live with that ending in mind. We get to, through him, avoid what we really deserve. And what we really deserve is separation from God because we screwed it up. But he came so that we can skip the consequences, so that we can be forgiven and be shown mercy. Now, we may still face consequences from our actions here, but our eternal consequence gets to be different. And that's the good news. That's what we need to be sharing. That's what we need to be talking about. But the real purpose of this video, what I really want to talk to you about, is that what we should be sharing. But I want to go to Romans chapter 10, verses 13 and 14. For everyone who calls on the name of the Lord will be saved. But how can they call on him to save them unless they believe in him? And how can they believe in him if they've never heard of him? And how can they hear about him unless someone tells them? That's us. That's you and me. We got to say something. We got to tell them. We've got to get out there and get the message out. And we think in Western society, everybody's heard of him and everybody knows and everybody has that choice to make. But the message is so skewed and messed up and overcomplicated and mystified, and everybody's got this, oh, I follow Wesleyan doctrine or Calvinism or this, that. We got to just cut through all that bull and simplify it, because Jesus is not, he was never complicated with it. God is not the God of confusion. It's not that difficult. But we got to cut all that junk out of it and get back to the simple basics of what Jesus taught. And the simple basics are, he came to save us. He's the only way to get there. And we got to get back to what he said, not what a bunch of other theologians said and built their stuff on. Now, I'm not bashing those guys. They had good intentions. They've all got good ideas. They all missed the mark on some of their ideas. We're all human. But then I also want to go into verse 15. And how will anyone go and tell them without being sent? That is why the scriptures say, how beautiful are the feet of the messengers who bring the good news. That's what this video is about. That's what I'm doing right now. I'm out here trying to go and spread. I'm asking you to send me, to take these videos and send them out to everybody you know, to put them in front of everybody that you can, to ask them to put them in front of everybody that they can. Take my videos, send me, get the word out. But I'm also challenging you. It ain't just my mission, it ain't just your mission, it's all of us. No one is called to a church pew calling. There's no such thing. Your job, once you accept Christ, is to tell others. Read Matthew chapter 28, the very end of Matthew, the very last few verses. Jesus says, go and make disciples, baptize them in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, and teach them what I have taught you. I'm paraphrasing at this point, but he doesn't say, accept me and sit there and wait till I come back to get you. He says, become a disciple, make disciples. Go and tell the good news. So this is my challenge to you starting now. There is a statistic out there that only 2% of Christians have ever shared their faith in any meaningful way. That means 98% of us. That means 8 out of 10 of us have never done this in any kind of way that means anything. 8 out of 10 of us have failed to ever do our job as Christians that Jesus set us apart to do. So this is the challenge. Get up, get to work. Use my videos as a tool to get started, but don't use me as an excuse not to go forward. I am happy to help, but I am not your crutch. I hope that you'll use me. I hope that you'll put me out there. I hope that you'll help me get further reach than I ever possibly could on my own. I hope that I can help you to reach somebody and to be a starting point into conversations. But it's your job to get out there and to reach people and to talk to them and to tell them the good news. It's not your job to save them. It's just your job to tell them. The Holy Spirit will do the rest. Let's take this year by storm. Love you guys. We'll see you next time.